Imagine living in a city surrounded by fear, walls, and enemies. Imagine knowing that every choice you make could cost you your life, for save generations to come. This was the world of Rahab, a woman in the ancient city of Jericho, whose incredible courage and faith would make her a pivotal figure in history. She wasn't a queen, a prophet, or a warrior. She was an ordinary woman, an innkeeper, living in a city gripped by fear and ruled by an iron fist. Her story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most unlikely people are the ones who change the course of history forever. It all began when 2 Israelite spies arrived in Jericho, sent to scout the land before its conquest. The city was on high alert, with soldiers patrolling the streets, searching for any sign of intruders. Rahab, seeing the spies, made a split-second decision that would seal her destiny. She hid them. Think about the risk she took. The king of Jericho had ordered his men to find and capture these spies. If Rahab was discovered, it wouldn't just be her life on the line, but the lives of her entire family. One wrong move, one whisper of suspicion from the guards, and it would all be over. Jericho was a fortress, a city under tight control. The king's soldiers were everywhere, and defying them was a death sentence. Yet, in the face of this overwhelming danger, Rahab found a courage she might not have even known she possessed. She didn't just hide the spies. She actively misled the soldiers, sending them on a wild goose chase out of the city gates. Why would she do this? What motivated her to risk everything for 2 strangers from an enemy nation? Her bravery was rooted in something deeper than just a desire to survive. It was rooted in faith. She had heard the stories. She knew about the God of Israel. She told the spies, "I know that the Lord has given you this land, and that a great fear of you has fallen on us." She recounted the miracles she'd heard about how their God had parted the Red Sea, how he had led them through the wilderness, and how he had given them victory over powerful kings. In a city that trusted in its high walls and military might, Rahab saw a greater power at work. She recognized that the God of Israel was the one true God of heaven above and of earth below. At her city, no matter how fortified, could not stand against him. This is what makes her story so remarkable. Rahab wasn't born into the Israelite faith. She wasn't part of their community or their culture. She was an outsider, someone her society would have looked down on, yet she recognized God's power and made a conscious choice to align herself with him. Her story teaches us a profound lesson. Faith isn't about your background, your birth, or your social status. It's about a choice of the heart. It's about seeing God's hand at work and deciding to trust him no matter the cost. Before the spies left, they made a pact with Rahab. They promised to save her and her entire family when the city fell. They gave her one simple but crucial instruction: hang a scarlet cord from her window. This red rope would be the sign, the symbol of the covenant they had made. When the Israelite army came to conquer Jericho, they were to spare everyone inside the house marked by that cord. This wasn't just a random instruction. It was a symbol of protection, a beacon of hope hanging against a backdrop of impending doom. It was a tangible representation of her faith and God's promise of deliverance. Days later, the Israelite army arrived. For 6 days, they marched silently around the city walls once each day. On the 7th day, they marched around 7 times. Then, at the command of their leader, Joshua, the priests blew their trumpets, and the entire army let out a mighty shout. And just as God had promised, the impenetrable walls of Jericho came crashing down. The city that had put its trust in stone and mortar was left completely defenseless. In the midst of the chaos and destruction, as the city fell, the 2 spies remembered their promise. They went directly to Rahab's house, the only part of the wall that miraculously remained standing. They found the scarlet cord hanging from her window, a vibrant symbol of her faith. They led Rahab, her father, her mother, her brothers, and all of her relatives to safety. Just as she had protected them, they now protected her. A woman who was once powerless in a hostile city became a key part of Israel's story. She and her family were welcomed into the community of Israel. But the story doesn't end there. Rahab's journey of faith had an impact that would echo through eternity. She later married an Israelite man named Salmon, and through their descendants, her lineage became part of the direct line of King David and ultimately of Jesus Christ himself. Think about that. An innkeeper from a condemned city, an outsider with a questionable past, was woven into the very fabric of salvation history. Her name is mentioned in the New Testament as an example of great faith, right alongside heroes like Abraham and Moses. Rahab's story is a powerful testament to the fact that God can use anyone, from any background, to accomplish his extraordinary purposes. Her life shows us that true courage isn't the absence of fear. It's about acting in faith despite the fear. It's not about your own strengths, wealth, or status. Rahab teaches us that sometimes the most unexpected people, the ones society overlooks or writes off on, play the biggest and most important roles in God's grand story. Her legacy is not one of wars and warfare, but of faith, courage, and the incredible, transforming grace of God. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear a message of hope. We'll see you in the next video.